going on, everyone? Welcome to the No Excuses Podcast, episode 4. Today, we're going to be talking about hardships and obstacles. Man, get ready for a kick-ass podcast. But before we start, man, first thing I want to say thank you to everyone who's subscribed and sharing my podcast and listening to it and sending me text messages and DMs on how you guys really appreciate the input and the information that I'm putting out there. Man, that means a lot. Motivates me to keep pushing, keep bringing out the best, for you guys and continue sharing my knowledge. Man, I hope guys, more important than just listening to the knowledge is actually applying it, and I'll do a podcast about that one day. But let's jump in, guys, into episode 4. No excuses, hardships, and obstacles. So first thing, guys, like whenever people think of a hardship and an obstacle, right away, there's a negative notion to it. Right away, it comes with something negative. Something happened bad. There was a downfall. There was a mishap. There was a failure, and the person gets down about it. Now, here's what the majority of the world does with hardships. The majority of the world, when they hit a hardship, they start crumbling. They start questioning. They start asking, why me? Why did this happen to me? How could this happen to me? Oh my gosh. What can I do about this? How am I going to get over this? It just becomes a complete shit show. And it weighs them down. And most of the time just takes over their whole day, week, month, and sometimes even life, and impacts them forever, with a negative notion. So obviously, that's not what I'm thinking. And obviously, that that's not my mindset. So now I'm going to tell you how I feel about hardships and obstacles. And I hope you learn. So my whole life, the reason I am Sensei Yaniv Rosenberg today is only due to hardships, mishaps, obstacles, downfalls, change of direction, anything negative you could think of, guys. Man, I've dealt with most of it, unfortunately, and it's made me who I am today, and it's given me the opportunity to serve others. So let's dive in, guys. First thing, guys, coming before I came to America, I lived in Israel, and Israel all the time is on and off with war. And I just remember being a little kid, and Saddam Hussein was attacking us. And while he was attacking us, we would have to like run into bunkers, put on gas masks. And I remember my little sister, she had to go into like this gas mask that covered like her whole body. We had to take wet rags and put them near the doors and tape everything so gas wouldn't come in if the missile did hit the building. We had a little radio, a little food box, and just sitting there as little kids with my mom because my dad was deployed, sitting there shivering, scared to death, and hearing the F-15s and F-16s taking off, and just hearing missiles and praying one is not going to hit us. That just starting life out like that, guys, like it gives you a perspective of what life is about and opportunities. So when opportunities do come, you actually take them, right? Like you're not just sitting there harping on the hardship. Soon as the fighting was over, okay, or I don't want to say over, subsides, immediately the Israeli people will go back to real life and go back to opening their businesses and go back to trying to thrive and make life happen again. So I saw that from a young age, like where you fall down, you get back up. The building gets knocked down, we build it right back up. Whatever it is, you're constantly getting after it. Fast forward to, I think I was about 9 years old. I remember we were never rich. My dad worked really hard, and I really wanted this BMX bike, this trick bike. And my dad saved up for it, and he got me the bike. He gets me the bike, and I take it out for the first time, and I'm riding down the street in Israel. And guys, Israel is kind of like New York City. It's all like buildings everywhere, and restaurants outside, stores downstairs. And there was a little local supermarket, right, like a convenience store. I walk in there with my buddy. I put my bike on the floor. I walk in. I walk out, and boom, bicycle is gone. Guys, I cannot tell you the feeling of like pain, confusion. I just didn't believe that somebody would steal my brand new bike. And it was just like it was just such a hard pill to swallow. But that taught me a big, big lesson from a young age, man. Like that the world is not fair. The world doesn't give a shit about you. And people are going to do what they're going to do. And you have two choices. Choice one is sit down, stay on the floor crying, complaining, and whining why this happened to you. Or two, say, fuck, man, this shit sucks. But pick yourself back up and get yourself another bike. Go start a new business. Go build that new home. Go start that new relationship. So, man, I remember coming home to my dad. I couldn't even look him in the eyes. And, man, Dad, you're not going to believe this, but the brand new bike you just got me was stolen. Man, the guy was so disappointed. I saw it in his face. But he said to me, it's okay, son. We'll get another bike. And he didn't have money to get another bike. But we worked our ass off and we ended up getting another bike. These are all the little things that started out in my life that started shaping my brain to who I am today, to a person who takes every negative aspect that he deals with and flips it for the positive. Fast forward, guys, I lost both of my parents. Everybody knows that, guys. I lost both of my parents, man, to cancer. Cancer sucks. Everybody knows that. And I remember when my dad died. I mentioned this in the episode 2. We're talking about death. How it impacted me so hard, right? But then I had so many questions because I didn't think somebody that powerful and that strong can just die, which they did. But then I used it as motivation, man. I used it as energy. I used it as like passion to freaking go and start living my life like full force. I didn't want to take anything for granted anymore. So, see, I don't want to say my dad had to die for me to become that way, but that's just the way it worked out. Do you understand? It worked out that instead of getting on medication and going into the deep depression about losing my mentor, losing my father, losing my best friend at the time, right? Instead of going down that rabbit hole, instead, it led me to become a leader. It led me to become a sensei. It led me to become this strong person who just is able to endure so much shit. I used all that hurt and all that negativity to fuel me to be the best person I can be. Fast forward, guys, I start my business. Everything is running smoothly. And now 2008 happens. If those of you that are listening who are a little bit older, you guys know 2008, we had a big economy crash. When the economy crashed, guys, I used to invest in real estate, heavy. Um, Lost a lot of money, man. We lost a lot of money. I used to buy foreclosures and flip them, and then the economy crashed and all the values went down by a freaking a lot, and we had to just dump them so we didn't have to sit on the properties, and lost a lot of money. And again, instead of falling down on my ass and giving up, okay, I regrouped, I recalibrated, and I re-engaged in a different way. I went and started now doing group classes, okay, instead of just privates. So I'll tell you even how that happened. Before 2008, all I did was private lessons, okay, for martial arts and fitness and invest in real estate. And 2008 happened. Most of the guys that were training with me were all like heavy duty guys, like millionaires, like heavy businessmen. So when the economy crashed, all these guys, their minds were fucked up. They didn't have like the right mindset to keep training and be focused. So I literally lost 70% of my business um, within months of the crash happening. Furthermore, not just losing all that, I also um, lost all that real estate money that I had coming in and all that net worth that I had. So I said to myself, Yaniv, what are you going to do? Because people can't afford to pay, you know, high rates for private training, but people still want to train, but they can do groups. I'll never forget, guys. I was charging at that time, bro, for like a private. I was charging around like $80 an hour at that time. And then I had to go and do a private. And I remember I was charging $100 back in the days, $100 a month. So before it was $80 an hour, okay, to train somebody one on one. And now I would train that same person 5 days a week for $100 a month. Man, that was a hard pill to swallow. But guys, I swallowed it. Okay. I didn't enjoy it. I swallowed it. But slowly, slowly, man, I used all that negativity of losing everything to building something big. I went from one student to two to three to 10 to 20 to 30 and so on and so on and so on until I built a full blown academy. Guys, like if the economy never crashed, if the economy never crashed, I would have never had a full blown jiu-jitsu academy. I would have just kept my place really small, training people privately, making a lot of money, and doing my real estate. That's it. Okay. Guys, today I have a full blown academy, man. Successful, been successful, man. And we're going on now on 21 years, man, that we're open. How did that happen? It happened because I used that negativity and that hardship and those obstacles. Instead of going belly up, I reinvented myself. And this is what this whole video is about. Is that when you hit a fucking hardship, when you hit an obstacle, you don't give up, you don't give in. You take a step back, you take it on the chin, you swallow it, and now you see how you can, where's the opportunity within this mess? Because there's always an opportunity. All right? So let's move on. So I started the academy, guys, but when I started the academy in 2008, guys, I wasn't doing actually, yeah, I wasn't doing jiu-jitsu. I just started doing jiu-jitsu 2008. Right before that, right before that, I did an amateur MMA fight. Okay. Not like in a real cage or anything like that. But back in the days, people would go and they would challenge each other. And I had this guy who came into my gym because I was a striking guy. I was a striking guy, Muay Thai, boxing, and Krav Maga. And I had judo background, but from a kid. So this guy challenges me for an MMA fight. I take the fight. I beat the shit out of him, but the fight goes to the ground. He sweeps me, takes my back, and chokes me out. So I was like, man, afterwards, like, what the fuck was that, bro? He's like, bro, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Gotta try that. From that day on, it just happened right when the economy crashed. Like everything just like happened at the same time. From that day on, um, I took off my black belt, I put on a white belt, and started training Jiu Jitsu full time. Guys, Jiu Jitsu has been one of my biggest and best discoveries that I've ever made in my life that I stuck to and made it part of my life. I used to be such an aggressive person, man. Like jiu-jitsu's helped me in so many different ways. Guys, I was always an athlete, and then after you were done playing college sports and stuff like, your athletic career kind of dwindles to nothing. But with jiu-jitsu, it brought that back in me. I was back to competition. I was back to competing all over the place, and so on and so on. So again, let's review that scenario. I got my ass kicked. Instead of making an excuse, like most fucking people would. Oh, I was tired. It wasn't my day. Blah, I twisted my hand. Whatever bullshit that you want to give people, whatever lies that you like to tell people, the reason why you failed and whatever it is. I didn't lie. I said, man, whatever that was, I need to learn it. I put my ego to the side. I said, man, I gotta learn this fucking jujitsu thing. And I started studying and became the top dog in jujitsu. So, like, guys, again, this is just another example of how I flipped adversity into success. Fast forward that. Things are moving on. Okay. Things starts falling apart with my wife. Okay. We start fighting. You know, we got all these kids. Guys, if those of you don't know, I have 5 kids, but I had 4 kids in 3.5 years. It was really stressful, man. Like, money was tight. The business just collapsed and I was rebuilding it. I just started this new jiu-jitsu career. I was competing all over the place and things just started going the wrong route between my wife and I. And again, guys, instead of just like blaming her and making excuses for, man, oh man, I work all day, I do this, I do that. You know, like, guys, I remember almost losing my marriage. I remember almost getting a divorce. And I remember finding the strength to look deep within myself and saying, Yaniv, what can you do to be a better man, a better husband, and a better father? And sometimes you have to do things that you didn't think you needed to do. Like, sometimes most people think they need to do more. But in my case, I needed to do less, which will be another podcast one day. But long story short, man, guys, that opportunity, I rediscovered myself once again. Because before that, I would have done anything you can ever imagine for my family and for my wife, right? Because I didn't want to lose them. But I realized, guys, sometimes in life, when you hold something so tight, okay, you hold something so tight, your hand's going to get tired. And eventually, whatever it is that you're holding on to will fall off. So instead, I learned to just keep my palm open and let whatever it is that I wanted in my life just hang in there because I wanted to hang in there instead of squeezing it to death, forcing it to be with me. When I discovered that through my obstacles of almost losing my marriage and my family, I reignited my marriage. I reignited my family. And ever since then, things just been thriving like crazy. Again, guys, this is another opportunity that I made difficulty into something thriving. I made an obstacle into success. This is what I'm trying to get to you guys, that whenever you have something really bad that's happening to you, if you're facing a divorce, if you're facing a health issue, if you're facing a loss of income, getting fired from a job, business doing bad, whatever it is, guys, there's so much opportunity waiting for you. It's right there in front of you. You just can't see it because you're too close to it. You have to take a step back. Sometimes you have to take 2 steps. Sometimes you have to take 10 steps back. Stay calm, stay cool, stay collective. Open your eyes and see where the problems are. See where the holes are. See where the opportunities are. Because I promise you, there's holes and opportunities. There's holes for you to plug up. And there's opportunities for you to take over. I'll never forget, guys, when the economy crashed. That, again, like I told you, I knew a lot of guys with money. Guys, these guys made a fucking killing. Okay? When the stock market crashes, what do people do? First thing, why does it crash? Get some bad news, and investor A says, oh man, things are bad, I'm going to sell. Investor B, and so on and so on. Everyone starts chain selling. And they're selling and they're selling, they're selling. And before you know it, it creates a massive panic. Well, guess what happens to the stock prices? They all start dropping dramatically. Okay? You hit a recession, and then from there, maybe you even hit a depression, whatever it is, however bad it gets. The real guys, the real motherfuckers, you know what they do? They hold on to that money. And when they see it hits close to rock bottom, they buy back in. Guys, Bank of America, it's $30 a share. It went down to like $1. You know, guys, some of these stocks, you know, like they went down to nothing. But everybody was scared that they were going to go under. Okay? That they didn't buy in. They didn't buy in and they missed the opportunity. But this is what it is, guys. If you have the balls, if you have the courage, if you have the belief, the will to move forward during hard times, you're going to be killing it. You're going to be the top of the top. But if you're the person that when obstacles hit, you run, hide, and duck, guys, you got no chance. You'll never be able to move forward. You'll always be stuck where you're at because you're scared. You're constantly scared. You run away from opportunities because all opportunities, write this down, all opportunities are dressed up as obstacles. All opportunities come in the form of difficulties. All opportunities come in a way of something that looks scary. But what you don't understand, all life is behind that fear curtain. Moving on with my life, guys. As I progressed, guys, remember I was telling you like I was really high level in jiu-jitsu. Guys, I started competing a lot. I gained, injuries here and there. Guys, jiu-jitsu became like the biggest part of my life, man. It was my academy, it was my family, and it was jiu-jitsu. And that's it. I didn't go out, I didn't party, I didn't do nothing. That's the only things I did. My knee started giving out on me a little bit. And being a hard ass, I would just continue training. I kept getting worse and worse and worse. And in 2000, I think it's 2015, something like that. After winning the states at black belt, my knee dislocated really bad, and I was like, no, I think it'll be okay. Fast forward, like a week later, it dislocated again, and I couldn't even move my leg. I cannot explain to you guys the sadness, the depression that I had going through my mind and my heart. Jiu-jitsu was so important to me, but now it all flashed in front of me that it's gone. Guys, I could not move my leg. I went to 3 different orthopedics, and they all said I needed surgery. I found the best surgeon I could find. If you guys ever need a surgeon, his name is Dr. Michael Baraga and Dr. Henry, guys, at University of Miami. Guys, I have to give them a shout out. These guys are the best orthopedics, hands down, in South Florida. I operated on my knee, guys. I did almost a total reconstruction of my right knee. And that's when it kicked in, the sadness and depression. I was like, man, how do I teach? How do I train? You have to understand, you're talking to somebody who trains daily, who works out daily, right? Who's active daily. I'm doing yard work. I'm working. I'm nonstop on my feet, moving around. And now I can't do fucking shit. I got this big ass cast on my leg, and you're talking about like 6 to 9 months of recovery. So my father-in-law comes over one day, and he goes, "Hey, you want to play chess?" And I say to him, "I don't know how to play chess." He goes, "Well, let me just show you." So he shows me how to move the pieces. That's it. Shows me how to move the pieces. And with my personality, if I like anything, I get attached to it and I get addicted to it, and I start doing everything I can to learn everything about it. Well, I want to tell you guys, those of you that don't know, that I want to say I'm a chess master, but I hold a decent rank in chess. And guys, I would have never, ever in my life went into chess if my knee didn't tear. So now you ask me, okay, in hindsight, would you tear your knee to take on this chess journey? And I will tell you right now, 100% yes. As crazy as that sounds, as painful as my knee was, as much setbacks that it gave me, it was a gift. It was a gift, guys. It wasn't just a gift because of chess. It was also a gift because it showed me that there was more to life than just jiu-jitsu. You're not talking about a hobbyist, somebody who's training 2-3 times a week for fun. You're talking about a guy who's training 2 times a day, once at Cyborgs in Miami and once at my own academy. Okay, 5-6 days a week. This was my life, guys. right? And now not training at all. But I picked up chess. I picked up other things that I found about myself. I realized that my life is not just jujitsu. And then I picked up this other hobby that I'm in love with till this day. From the day that I tore my knee back in 15 till now, the past 9 years, I've been playing chess every day. I play chess daily, guys. I probably spend about half hour to an hour a day playing chess thanks to that knee injury, right? So again, this is just another example of a very bad hardship that turned into an amazing opportunity for me, to an amazing discovery. You know, it was like an awakening. I was waiting for it. Guys, I have so many stories, man. I have so many stories that when a door closes in my face, another one opens. Right? Like, what are obstacles, man? These are just things that are meant for you to go over and around and under. Stop giving up when the door slams in your face. Stop turning the corner, okay, and changing directions when things don't work out so well. On the last podcast, I described, I talked about relationships, and I was telling you, like, you have to fight through, you have to keep going, you have to not give up. The relationships, they don't come with a guide, they don't come with a blueprint. You have to figure things out. How many obstacles you can write? I can write a whole book on obstacles just of relationships, right? How many obstacles has one encountered just being in a relationship? Well, go ask any older couple who has at least 20 years of marriage, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, if things were easy. They weren't. They were never easy, but they worked through them and they became easier. And then they became more enjoyable. You learn to enjoy the process. Okay? So now when you hit an obstacle, instead of saying, oh man, this sucks, I got to change routes, I got to find another spouse, I got to change careers, I got to find a different job, I got to this, that. No, man, this is an opportunity for you, okay, to rediscover yourself, rediscover your relationship, rediscover your business, maybe rediscover another business. Guys, ever since we were kids, I remember like playing like Mario Brothers, right? On a Nintendo. What was the goal? To go to the next level. When you went to the next level, right? You got excited. And then the first 2, 3, 4, 10, 20, 30 times that you played that level, you got eaten by the mushroom or whatever, right? You got your ass knocked out. But what did you do? Did you quit? No, you went, you played again. Why? To get to the next level. The only way you will ever get to the next level, guys, ever in your life, is by overcoming an obstacle, is by overcoming an opposition. As a matter of fact, without the obstacle, without the opposition, you have nothing. That sucks, doesn't it? You have nothing. If you don't have an obstacle in front of you, you don't have opposition, you don't have resistance, you have nothing. So let me explain. All the people that grow up with a silver spoon, right? All the people that have everything just handed to them, what do they turn out to be? Douchebags, shitbags, lazy asses, spoiled, rotten. The list can go on, right? Why? Because nothing sharpened their character ever. They never had a difficult time in their life. Every time they had a difficult time, their parents, their guardians, their whoever was in their lives pulled them out of the mess instead of letting them figure it out. Hey, you put yourself in here, figure it out. By letting people figure that out, they become better people. They become they learn problem solving skills, right? Like, so if you even think about jujitsu or chess, what is it? It's the same thing. Constantly there's another opponent, okay, behind the chessboard or the jujitsu mat who wants to submit you, pass your guard, choke you, break your arm, whatever, make you tap. Same thing in chess. Someone is trying to capture your king, eat your pieces. What do you have to do? Every time they move a piece, that's an obstacle that you have to outthink them to get to your specific goal. That's what makes life fun. When you go to the gym, what do? Do you go pick up the 1 pound weight and do it 1,000 times? No. You find a weight that challenges you. You find a weight that gives you resistance. And what you're doing is that you're forcing those resistance into reps, 10 reps, 15 reps, 20 reps. And in return, what happens? You get sore, but then you build muscles. You look in the mirror, you're like, man, I could take a fucking selfie. I look good. I feel good. I got a six pack. I got some muscles. Right? Guys, so again, all good things come from obstacles, comes from resistance, comes from difficulties. I tell some of the guys I coach, like when like one of my best friends, this guy Brian, guy's like he's in the construction business. And he goes to people's homes and fixes this and fixes that and does all kinds of stuff like that. And sometimes people tell him like, how come it's so expensive, for to do this or that, to replace a light bulb, not replace the light bulb, but put up a fan or whatever. Like it only took you 15 minutes. And I always tell him like, bro, you got to charge. He says, well, it just took me 15 minutes. I said, no, my friend. I said, it took you 10, 20 years of learning and doing this over and over and over again, that now, okay, after you ran into every difficulty in the world, okay, in your business, now you're able to look at that fan, understand the obstacles, go around them, fix them. All the solutions are already in your head, and now you're able to do it in 15 minutes. Where if it was regular Joe Schmo, he's got to go on YouTube, he's got to go back and forth to Home Depot, and it might take him something that took Brian 15 minutes. This might take this person 2 hours, 3 hours, 2 days to figure it out. It still might come out wrong and crooked. So the difficulties when you charge as a businessman, you're not just paying for the 15 minutes worth of work, you're paying for all my experience that I had to overcome myself, okay, and become the person I needed to be able to do this job in 15 minutes and produce the result that we're all looking for. Guys, all the things that you're looking for are behind the things that you're avoiding. Everything that you're looking for. You want a better marriage? You need to confront it. You need to look at the obstacles. What is the problem? Where's the opportunity? Where can I improve? You want your business to thrive. Where are the holes? Where are the opportunities? You have to dive into them. If you avoid them, they only get bigger. The problems only get bigger, right? And they'll start eating you up. I tell people all the time when I'm coaching them in jiu-jitsu, don't turn your back. Always face your problem. Always face your problem, because when you turn your back, the problem gets bigger. Not that it just gets bigger, you can't even see what's happening. So anytime you guys have a problem, face it head on. Look it right in the eyes. Be a man or a woman about it. Confront it. Don't be afraid of the altercation that it might cause, because behind that altercation, behind that difficulty, behind that obstacle, that there lands the opportunity, there lands the answer. I'll give you another simple example, with like construction. Let's just say you got a little leak, but the leak is not visible to the eye, and it just keeps leaking behind the wall. And you know it's there, and you're like, I don't want to deal with that shit. Let it be. It's not bothering me. It's not cosmetic. I can't see it. But what you don't see, that it's eating your wall inside out. What you don't see is all the mold that's happening behind closed doors. And what you don't see is that what you're smelling and breathing in is going to cause you a lot of health issues in your future. It's no difference when you avoid any other obstacle, any other difficulty, or any other hard situation that you're supposed to be facing head on. Guys, if you face it head on, it might be hard. Okay, it might be hard, but you'll get it off your shoulders and you'll be so happy that you did so. And then you'll realize that, you know what, it wasn't that bad. And here's what I learned from it. And here's what I gained from it. and here's how I'm going to change and pivot to become a better person, a better businessman, a better husband, a better wife, a better whatever it is that I'm looking for. Guys, stop avoiding the hardships, because all the answers that we ever wanted are all behind those doors. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this little podcast. Guys, this is it. This is it, man. This is where it's at. Believe, achieve, face your problems. Don't run away from your obstacles. Don't run away from your problems. Face them head on, and you'll be able to conquer anything your heart desires. Guys, have a kick-ass day. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share. Make sure you follow. And guys, if you ever need help to level up to the next level within your personal life, in your fitness, your nutrition, hit me up for my No Excuses program. If you're living in Plantation, Fort Lauderdale area, come check out my dojo and let's get some training in. God bless and have an awesome day. Usa.